Welcome to another Innovative Health Solutions webinar. My name is Dr. Wallner, and today we're talking all about the power of vitamins and herbs, the healing power of vitamins and herbs. So if you've been to any of my webinars or in-office seminars before, you'll know that we always start out with the mission statement here at IHS, which is to foster the highest standard in primary natural health care. We also talk about our values, which are to improve and restore the quality of life of every patient by cultivating physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual health, as well as emphasizing the importance of chiropractic adjustments, nutritional support, and natural therapies. Once again, my name is Dr. Wallner. I am an applied kinesiologist, bioenergetic functional medicine doctor, neuroendocrine immunologist, and licensed doctor of chiropractic. Please connect with us on social media. We're currently on 3 platforms, as you can see: Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We also have a monthly newsletter that we email to all of our patients to keep them informed on office events, preparing for seasonal changes, and wellness tips and tricks to keep you and your family healthy. Let's see, you can also connect with Canton Senior Services or the Summit on the Park people over at Canton on Facebook and Twitter. So like I said, today we're talking all about the healing power of vitamins and herbs. So in order to talk about the importance here, we need to really zoom out and examine where we're at in the U.S. in terms of healthcare. Please don't misunderstand me. We need drugs and we need pharmaceuticals at the right time, the right level, and the right sequence. If I get in a car accident and I'm in excruciating pain, I'm not necessarily going to my chiropractor right away. I'm going to the hospital or people who can help me get out of pain. Okay, but once I'm pain-free, or once the hospital keeps me alive, then I'm going to my chiropractor for sure. Okay, because I don't want to be on drugs or pharmaceuticals indefinitely. Okay, so there's a time and there's a place for all things. That's what I'm trying to communicate here. The truth is, the cost of healthcare is skyrocketing. Metabolic syndrome, obesity, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes are currently eclipsing diseases like cancer and will cost astronomical amounts. Diet and lifestyle is the answer. It's also cheaper, okay? But we live in a free country. So if I choose to eat myself into oblivion, then I have that freedom, right? So not to go all political on our discussion here, but that's where we get into some socioeconomic or some political issues, because someone else's lifestyle choices are starting to affect myself or starting to affect you. Okay, so here are some examples. Seats on public transportation, airplanes, increased taxes because more public servants are needed to take care of others that can't take care of themselves, emergency response teams to get people out of their homes. The list goes on, but let's look at some numbers here. This is data from 1990 to 2010 for obesity trends in the U.S. This is from the Center for Disease Control, the CDC. Okay, and here's the thing, people. These numbers are old. It's now 2016, okay? The truth is, the overwhelming majority of the country, over 2/3, has some component of the metabolic syndrome, okay? So a little bit about the metabolic syndrome, okay, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, weight gain, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. These are all components of this condition, okay, and this is an epidemic, all right? No one chooses to be obese, no one chooses cancer, okay? But these are the things that this country is going to face, and this is now most people, okay? So I have a picture of a newborn on here as well, and we're now noticing that newborn babies are being born as obese kids. So how do you tell a newborn baby to eat less and exercise more, like you can with an adult? All right? So what we now know is that the insulin levels of the mother are directly passed on to her baby, meaning that if we can show women, specifically women of childbearing age, how to take care of their body, decrease their stress, and eat real food before they get pregnant, we can literally reverse the trends and stop the epidemic. All right? So I encourage you to watch a documentary on YouTube that really details everything I'm talking about here. YouTube search The Complete Skinny on Obesity. Dr. Robert Lustig does a great job detailing everything that I'm kind of using as an introduction to our discussion here on the healing power of vitamins and herbs. So just a little follow-up here. Why is this all happening? Did we just wake up one day and discover all these problems? The answer is no. This has been an insidious environment that we've created. All right, here's the thing. Our food is depleted of vitamins, minerals, nutrients. Okay, we spray our food. Our animals are sick. Okay, we have an industrialized agriculture and food system that is profitable for many companies, but at the detriment of our health. Okay, I don't want to go into a huge discussion on this. That's going to come for another talk, all right? But if we eat food that is sick, plants that are sick, animals that are sick, our bodies develop disease and we get sick. So what's the treatment? All right, diet and lifestyle is the answer. Okay, you have a choice of what you eat and how you live. All right, there is an abundance of case examples in literature showing that the way you reverse type 2 diabetes is with simple, non-invasive, conservative therapies, most of which involve diet, nutrition, and lifestyle. Okay? Part of that diet and lifestyle connection is natural whole food supplements, herbal supplements, and homeopathic remedies. Throw in other conservative therapies like acupuncture, therapeutic massage, chiropractic, craniosacral, reflexology. All of these things contribute to a really healthy lifestyle that not only costs less, it's more effective than many of these pharmaceutical approaches.
It's of critical importance to obtain the right herbal material for use in the manufacturing process. Really, we need the best quality herbal materials coming in through the door to make the best quality herbal medicine. And it all starts here in the paddock. My name is Peter Perbrick and I look after the herb sourcing for MediHerb. Sometimes we get herb materials in which have been prepared in a sort of optimum way, and they are just clearly full of life, full of vitality, and we know at that point it'll make wonderful herbal medicine. But I like the idea that we're making good products for people. I like the industry we're involved in, the fact that we're making herbal medicine which is good for people, and my part of it, I like being involved with sourcing of the herbs, the best quality herbal materials to make our products.
We're trying to get the best product out there for the consumers. The process that we follow, the level of testing that we do, the striving of the quality that we actually desire, ultimately gives us probably a product that's better than anyone else's, and I truly believe that. Once the herbs leave the warehouse, it's taken across to the actual manufacturing facility, which will undergo obviously further processing into either tablets or into a liquid extract. The cold percolation process is really particular to MediHerb. A lot of other companies do not do that process, probably because of the length of time and the complexity of it. And so we're very individual in how we do things here. I mean, the job of making tablets is not an easy job, especially when you're actually using the herbal products. The guys in our manufacturing areas have got a lot of experience in that. They've gained a lot of knowledge. They've improved a lot of their own processes. It's an exciting place to be here right now with the growth that we're about to experience. You do what you believe in, and you set your own standards, don't you? And you've got to remember, at the end of the day, the products that we make, there's a consumer at the end of it.
Culturally, MediHerb wants to do the right thing by the healthcare industry. MediHerb's not just interested about, surviving as a company. MediHerb's also interested in ensuring that the herbal medicine tradition survives as well. Being a practitioner, I think, is quite important when you're working, in a company like MediHerb, because it allows you to understand the mind of the customer, and that's the thing that early on really set MediHerb apart. And it is a distinct science. When you get to the technical details of the application, it's quite a scientific process.
Fundamentally, we're the gatekeepers of all of the materials that come in to the sites and leave the sites. And this is where the science comes into it, where you actually have to measure the amount of phytochemicals within that particular material to make the label claim. So we're interested in three key areas for our raw materials. One, the identity. Is the material what it says it is? Two, we're interested in quality. Does it have sufficient phytochemicals to meet our label claims? And three, the purity. Is the material free of contamination, such as microbial contamination, heavy metals, aflatoxins? We're not willing to take minimum standard to go into our finished products. I'd like to think that we've raised the benchmark in the industry, and at the end of the day, that's a good feeling.
around the world there is nothing that delivers the quality that the MediHerb products deliver so consistently. You take a MediHerb extract 1 and 2 and you compare it with something else and it hits you between the eyes, the nose, the aroma, the taste. And most of our appreciation of traditional medicines is what we call organoleptic. It's the sensory perceptions of it. And MediHerb scores endlessly well on that.
The core reason underlying the success of MediHerb is that it understands and set out to serve the herbal clinician. We have so many people who either were involved in the inception of the business, or are currently driving the innovation, or are involved in sales or marketing, who are herbal clinicians themselves. And I think in tandem with it is a culture of excellence. And it's certainly something that I've always adhered to in the approach. Whenever I do something, I really genuinely do it to the best of my abilities. I think most natural clinicians, they get into this profession because they genuinely want to help people, and they genuinely might want to make a difference in people's lives and their health.
My true passion really is helping people to reclaim their health so that they can really do what they want to do in their lives. I really believe that herbs were put on this earth to help heal us. Quality is the number one thing that's important to me. I'm looking for quality and consistency. As a naturopath, I'm really blessed to be able to offer people something that can truly heal their body and change their life.
It's a remarkable team of people that we've gathered over the years who are just highly committed to what they do and do go beyond. It's now embedded in our nature.
Great. So, just in the same way as there's a spectrum in terms of quality with food, for example, there's a steak that's been pumped with antibiotics, and a cow that's lived in a CAFO its whole life. That meat is probably not a very good quality meat, especially if the animal has been sick, versus a steak that's been, grass-fed, organic, out in the pasture, all of that. The same principle applies to supplements here. So in our office, we only use companies who have that dedication and that commitment to quality. Okay, so Standard Process is an example, MediHerb is an example, and Physica has wonderful homeopathics as well. So I really want to communicate, not all supplements are created equal. There's been lawsuits over this from GNC and Walmart. Some of these companies just put powder or nothing in a capsule, put that in a bottle, slap a label on it that says echinacea, when there's really no echinacea in there at all, and then you're paying money for that, and then you're putting that in your body. Okay, so you really want to be careful. Ask your licensed healthcare professional or your doctor, where is the sourcing, how are these things cultivated and harvested, and like I said, here at the office, we only use the things that get the fastest and the best clinical results, because we don't want to waste your time. We don't want to waste your money on things that just don't work well. Okay, all of these companies that we use require a doctor's license, a physician level license to distribute their products and their supplements. So when you combine chiropractic adjustments with your nutritional therapies, you've really got a formula for optimum wellness there. So let's talk about some of the top herbs here. Rhodiola and Schizandra. Great adaptogenic herbs, okay? Herbs that drive or modulate the HPA, or the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, okay? Here's a picture of rhodiola right here. As you can see, it's growing in between rocks, okay? For rhodiola to express the best biochemistry, it has to grow in those subarctic and those alpine climates, okay? If you try and farm it, down in other lower latitudes, if you will, it's not going to express the same biochemistry and be as clinically effective. Schizandra is a powerful neuro-emotional support. It's also a great phase 1, phase 2 liver tonic, if you will. It's hepatoprotective in that way. Let's talk a little bit about adrenal complex, okay? Adrenal complex helps to support your adrenal system or your cortisol rhythms, okay? Your adrenal glands make cortisol, okay? And so when you're constantly stressed, your adrenal glands constantly pump out cortisol. What the licorice does in adrenal complex is makes that cortisol that your adrenal glands already make last longer so that your glands don't have to work as hard to make more, okay? So consider supporting your adrenal glands specifically during seasonal changes to help prevent fatigue and illness. St. John's wort has been around for more than 2,000 years, okay? This is a natural antidepressant. It works on the serotonin pathways, okay? Here's a really important point that I want to drive home for every nutritional, therapeutic, medicinal herb. Some of these herbs have cross reactions with medications, okay? So if you're on an SSRI or birth control or anticoagulants, some of these herbs may really not be the best thing to add if you're already taking those drugs, okay? That's why I really encourage you to consult with a licensed healthcare professional who knows and has a passion for these complex drug herb interactions. Most of the time we're fine, but every now and then, you know, you look at a herb like St. John's wort, and if you're taking SSRIs, birth controls, or anticoagulants, you know, you really may want to reconsider the approach. A little bit about gymnema. Gymnema is a great bitter herb that really modulates your sugar cravings. The way it does that is by changing the sensitivity of the sweetness receptors on your tongue. I find that the most profound gymnema results are from a long-term use of gymnema, both of the tablet and the liquid form, to modulate those taste receptors on the tongue. So basically, when you use gymnema, you really are sensitive to candy or sugar, and then you don't want it as much. So you decrease your cravings, if you will. Let's look a little bit at echinacea.
Firstly, it's made from echinacea root, and as such, it's not only the most researched echinacea root product in the world, it's the one that delivers the highest level of alkyl amides. These are the tingly compounds that the traditional herbalists in the United States, the eclectic physicians, claim were responsible for echinacea's activity. Not only is Echinacea Premium MediHerb's flagship product, it's also my favorite product. And I actually believe that I established my successful clinical practice via knowledge of how to use echinacea root. And in particular, we're looking at that unique combination of Echinacea purpurea and Echinacea angustifolia roots, which has been shown in our research to deliver higher levels of these key active compounds, the tingly alkyl amides, into the bloodstream. And through that, I've been able to optimize the effects on the immune system using this herb that was so highly regarded by the traditional eclectic physicians as the best herb for all the situations where you need immune support.
Okay, so if you were to only have one herb, to take as a supplement, echinacea would probably be it. But again, has to be the high quality echinacea like Dr. Bone mentioned, the Echinacea angustifolia and the Echinacea purpurea. The combination of those two species yields the highest level of the alkyl amides. The alkyl amides are what give you that immune support and that are what work on those CB2 receptors, which are found in the cerebellum and the spleen. Okay? Echinacea is also a driver of heat shock protein 70, just like rhodiola. Okay? And that gives you a better HPA response. One more cool fact about echinacea, it actually produces its own anti-pesticide, if you will. So if you're concerned about our exposure to Roundup or herbicides or pesticides that our food has been sprayed with, really consider supplementing with echinacea because that plant makes its own anti-pesticide. So when we eat that plant, we get that same anti-pesticide effects. And if we have that pesticide or Roundup, around in our tissues in our body, echinacea can be a really great support for reversing those adverse effects, if you will. So let's move right along to some of the top vitamins and minerals. So as you can see, there's a lot of things up here that talk about methylation, energy production, even a little bit about the immune system and some of our natural abilities to sleep and to function just like normal human beings, okay? So I do want to talk about vitamin D. Since we live in Michigan, we don't get a lot of sunlight for a certain time of the year. Many of us might be living in Michigan. You might be watching from somewhere else. But the recent research on vitamin D has found it to be an important neurohormone that's really good for protecting against degenerative brain conditions such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, okay? The cool thing is our body can synthesize its own vitamin D, but the sun has to be at the right angle, meaning if your shadow is as tall or shorter than you are, you're good. Your skin can synthesize its own vitamin D. If your shadow is taller or longer than you are, then technically your body is not actually making the proper vitamin D that it needs, okay? Vitamin D is also really good for a happy mood, strong bones, DNA and RNA signaling. Really encourage everyone to have really good vitamin D levels. We can measure those in the lab with a simple lab test, blood test. And like I said earlier, the neurodegenerative effects of vitamin D have been profound, especially when your levels are above 100 or close to 150. All right, let's talk about B6, B9, and B12. Basically, methylation sums it all up. Pregnant women need folic acid or B9 to protect against neural tube defects, but let's zoom in on methylation here. If you've never heard of methylation before, let me just give you a quick idea. All of these circles here, okay, represent your body's energy pathways, okay? And for these circles to turn, or for your body to methylate, you need vitamin B6, B9, and B12, okay? You can have a genetic defect that can make these circles harder to turn, okay? Right here, the MTHFR A1298C and the MTHFR C677T. I don't want you to worry about those so much. But in order for these circles to turn, like I said, you need those really high quality, good B vitamins in your diet and in your tissues and in your circulation, okay? Also, with that, let me just jump down to magnesium and zinc. We see a lot of deficiencies in these two really important minerals, and those also drive the methylation pathways as well. So your synthesis of your neurotransmitters, your serotonin, your dopamine down here, those all require healthy levels of zinc and magnesium. If you're constipated, okay, you do need really good zinc and magnesium levels, specifically magnesium. Also, zinc is really good for reproductive health and immune health. There are easy ways that we have to test for these two minerals in the office. We can also order lab testing as well. Let's jump back to vitamin C real quick. Really good for your thyroid, for energy production and trace mineral absorption. The cool thing is animals, if you're a cat or a dog, they can actually make their own vitamin C, but humans cannot. We have to get it from our diet. We don't have the enzyme in order to synthesize our own vitamin C. And so it's really important that we get it from our diet. Fresh citrus fruits are really good for vitamin C. For magnesium, lots of avocados and cashews. Okay, also zinc in there as well. And so as we kind of wrap this talk up today, I really want to emphasize three main things here. Eating well, moving well, and thinking well. Okay? Herbs, vitamins, and minerals all work better with food. In a perfect world, we wouldn't need any supplements because our food would provide all the nutrients that our body needs. So eat clean, just eat real food. Eat what your grandparents or your great-grandparents would have had available to eat. Hydrate your body, drink lots of water, sit less, move more. Think of movement as nutrition. We need to eat a variety of fruit, vegetables, meats to get the nutrient profile that our cells need. In the same way, our body needs to move in different ways. Our brains need to be challenged, and going from sitting to standing and only walking on one plane is like eating the same food every day, day after day. After several days in a row, it loses its value. Part of all of this movement involves chiropractic adjustments and chiropractic care. So, why is chiropractic so helpful? Chiropractic adjustments to the spine profoundly impact the central nervous system for healing. As you can see in this diagram, all of our organs and glands and tissues are innervated by nerves that trace back to the spinal cord. By adjusting the vertebra around the spinal cord, we can specifically and significantly improve and restore the function of tissues that aren't working like they should be. So, include chiropractic adjustments for you and your family as part of your health and wellness lifestyle. So let's look at a quick video here of what you might experience at a chiropractor's office here.
And that's your adjustment for Dr. Winchester will approach from the side, and he'll be at a, relatively speaking, a 45-degree angle. He'll take a broad contact with his right hand on the upper part of the sacrum, and then he will roll the work into him. So that the expression we use is roll the work into your home. And then that way you're protecting your shoulder so you're not too far out with your shoulder exposed to injury. When he rolls that into him, then he will just do a simple body drop. And that's your adjustment for a loss of mutation in the sacroiliac area.
Good, so that's just an example of what you might experience at the chiropractor's office here at Innovative Health Solution. Again, everyone's spine is different. You may have different levels of degeneration or disc concerns that would contraindicate a technique like that. So we have other techniques to use instead. However, for the majority of people, if they're looking for a good specific chiropractic, gentle chiropractic adjustments, that would be an example of, a really good low back adjustment for the spine there. So once again, I want to encourage you to find us on social media and connect with us. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Also on Facebook and Twitter for Canton Leisure Services with Summit at the Park. And then we have more YouTube videos here from myself, webinars from everything on leaky brain, leaky gut, the thyroid. I have a great back to school webinar, how to sleep better, and even chiropractic care for pregnancy and pediatrics. Finally, I want to encourage everyone to attend the future holistic approach to health and wellness events over at Summit on the Park. And with that, this has been Dr. Wallner coming to you live from beautiful Southeast Michigan, and this is the Renaissance of Healthcare.